This is not for you. You are just not meant to have a pet. I can't take care of a pet. I can't even take care of a fish.
But she really doesn't know a thing about animals.
This is why you don't get someone a pet.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sid, and in today's video I am going to be talking about Kim Kardashian's pets. This is another video that I have always received lots of requests for, but I always kind of assumed that it was just because Kim had a revolving door of pets, but there's actually so much more than that. There's a fake animal rescue, dogs in a garage, some questionable behavior towards cats, and much more. But before I get into all of that, I first want to thank today's sponsor, Delete Me. Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that will remove your personal information that's being sold online. And that is something that everyone who uses the internet should be thinking about these days. So many companies collect, share, and sell your data. And Delete Me believes in the right to own, manage, and remove your personal information. So Delete Me's privacy experts will remove you from hundreds of data brokers all year long. They will remove your personal data like your phone number and home address, and will continue to monitor sites for repeat removals as needed. Everything is also handled directly by Delete Me. They don't outsource anything. They submit the opt-out requests and removals all themselves. That way they are able to provide you with a detailed privacy report in 7 days. The report is handy because it clearly shows how much data was found, where it was found, and where it was removed from. So get 20% off Delete Me consumer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/SID20 and use promo code SID20 at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/SID20 and use the code SID20. Once again, thank you to Delete Me for sponsoring this video. It really helps me and the channel out. Anyway, so back to the video. So if you watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, the show that Kim and her family are on, it is not uncommon to see animals on there. They've always had their family pets, but some animals would just pop up for an episode or two to serve as a prop for a storyline. Kris Jenner, Kim's mum, got chickens for a moment, a chimp showed up for an episode, and Kim found a chihuahua on the street.
So I'm out shopping and I find this ratty little dog. What are you doing here?
She attempted to look for the owner of this dog by going to the pound to see if it had a microchip, but no chip was found. And apparently she also put up signs looking for the owner, but she was unable to find the owner. So Kim decided to take ownership of the dog and named her Princess. Then out of the blue she decided that she probably should take Princess to the vet, and when she took her there, apparently Princess had some life-threatening issues.
She has a condition called pyometra.
Princess is so little, I'm just worried about her going into surgery.
So Kim let a vet assistant that we never got to see take ownership of Princess because they would be best equipped to look after Princess.
But we have to do what's the best decision for Princess.
One of the vet's assistants has offered to adopt Princess and give her the constant care that she really needs. Her best chance for survival would be for me just to give her up.
After this, Kim was actually seen as a massive animal lover and heavily praised. The animal rights group PETA even gave Kim kudos, and after the episode aired, lots of people wanted to know how Princess was doing, so Kim tweeted that she was doing well. But some people were not satisfied with Kim's answer, so they decided to contact the veterinary clinic directly to see how Princess was going. According to comments left on an online forum where Princess was being discussed, when people called the Beverly Oaks Animal Hospital asking how Princess was doing, they were told that Princess actually was not sick and was actually a pet of an E! News staff member. And as it turns out, the supposed vet in the episode was actually an actor by the name of Kardashian-Jenner. So it ended up all being fake. But at least it was able to raise awareness about animals in pounds, because Kim was told that if she left Princess there, then she could potentially be put down. But would she have done this for an animal if it wasn't a part of the show? Probably not. Princess was a prop for the show, and that was it. She wouldn't ever go near an animal if she couldn't show it off in some capacity. In 2010, Kim was doing a photo shoot with a kitten on the set, so of course she took a photo with it. She posted it to Twitter and immediately received backlash for how she was holding it. She then made a post to her blog explaining what happened. Apparently the owner of the kitten and a vet were also on set, and that was how they told her to pick it up. Peter also acknowledged the way Kim was holding the kitten, and surprisingly actually went pretty easy on her. They said Kim Kardashian isn't the only person who mistakenly thinks that because a mother cat picks up her kittens by the scruff of the neck, that a supportive hand underneath the rump isn't needed. But I'll bet plenty of fans have let her know, nicely, we hope. But I'm sure Peter wished they had been a little harsher, because Kim continued to use cats as photo props. In 2012, she was gifted a teacup Persian cat by her boyfriend at the time. She named her Mercy, and Courtney, Kim's sister, did not think it was a good idea for Kim to get the kitten.
Kim is so busy. She's always traveling. She's never going to be able to take care of it.
She's gonna be so over this cat in 5 seconds.
Mercy was seen in a spin-off show of theirs called Courtney and Khloe Take Miami. So at the time, they were all residing in hotel rooms in Miami. They were constantly on the go, organizing their clothing business in the area and doing lots of other stuff. And Kim brought this cat almost everywhere they went, whether the cat liked it or not.
This car was Chloe.
Clawing me.
Ow, 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 her nails are like stuck in me.
One night they took Mercy out while they were drunk, and Mercy vanishes at some point in the night. And the next morning, Kim can't find Mercy anywhere in her hotel room, and she had been too drunk to remember what happened during the night.
Kitty! Kitty! Did you leave your door open? No. Mercy!
I'm looking around for Mercy and my heart is pounding.
Hello?
I'm just like freaking out because I have no idea where she is. It's gonna look like I don't care about the kitty. It's gonna look like I don't care about the gift. Courtney's right. I'm so irresponsible.
But when she gets on the phone with her friend Jonathan, she finds out that he took her to his house. Another place Kim took Mercy was on the set of a photo shoot for her Christmas card in 2012. Kim's hairstylist was given the task of holding Mercy when her hair didn't need tending to, but when Kim's hair did need tending to, the hairstylist handed off Mercy to one of the crew members. So that crew member decided to do a solo photo shoot with Mercy and edit Mercy into the finished Christmas card. But even though Mercy was a part of the family Christmas card, she couldn't stay in the family for much longer because Kim turned out to be allergic to cats.
You have a significant reaction to cat allergen.
What does that mean?
That means that that cute, adorable little kitten of yours, you have allergy to.
She talked on her blog about how there was an option to receive injections to stave off the symptoms of a cat allergy, but she didn't think it was safe to resort to injections. So she decided to give Mercy to her sister Chloe's assistant. She had one of her own assistants fly with Mercy from Miami to LA to give her to Chloe's assistant. Then 2 weeks later, Mercy went limp and then was diagnosed with a rare stomach cancer. But according to the vet, not even aggressive treatment could help Mercy, so she had to be euthanized. Then, almost 10 years later, in 2021, Kim got the same breed of cat as a Christmas present for her daughter North. That cat's name was Frosty, but Kim called her Mercy number 2.
Hey, Mercy number 2. Hey, Merce. Frosty. Frosty. Oh! Frosty. Mercy. Mercy. Frosty. Hey. Merce.
Even though Kim has a massive house, her original allergist told her that even if a cat was kept in a separate room, that she'd still feel the effects.
Even if the cat was kept in one room, it wouldn't take long before the allergen of the cat would be found in other areas.
So to be able to have this second cat, maybe she got the injections she could have gotten the first time, or maybe she did just end up getting rid of Mercy number 2, because after that she was never seen again. The next time Kim interacted with a cat was in 2023 when she wanted to take designer Karl Lagerfeld's cat Choupette to the Met Gala, but Choupette sensed something off about Kim and would not allow it.
Choupette, we're not a match. So I am not bringing her to the Met.
But some animals that couldn't fight back against Kim were some of the smaller animals she got. In 2021, she announced her daughter North had a female pet bearded dragon named Speed. This bearded dragon belonged to one of Kim's best friends, and they were only supposed to be looking after it for a week. But North became attached and they ended up keeping it. Kim even had custom clothes made especially for Speed, and Kim said in her post that Speed goes everywhere with North, but she seemingly went everywhere but a place to get Speed's nails trimmed down. Most bearded dragon owners will have some kind of rough surface in their enclosure so that the bearded dragon can naturally file its nails down. They may still need to trim them from time to time, but definitely not regularly if they have the adequate kind of enclosure. While Kim hasn't shared any photos of Speed's setup, I think it's safe to say that she is not being kept in a cage with any rough surfaces. Speed's nails are very long to the point where they're curling over. And there were also issues around how North was holding Speed.
Holding a bearded dragon like this, almost the way that someone might hold a baby doll, compromises the dragon's ability to breathe.
The picture is North holding the bearded dragon, holding it a little bit awkward. You don't really want to hold the bearded dragon like that, just because they can't breathe when they're like that.
Main issue here is when you're holding a bearded dragon upright, it makes it hard for them to breathe.
Another issue with this is the gem that is attached to Speed's head. Bearded dragons have a third eye on the top of their head, which is incredibly useful for them. They use it to perceive light, dark, shadows, and UV light. The information they gather from those things helps them to warn them against predators, direct hormone production, and regulate their body temperature. In captive care, Speed doesn't have to worry about predators, but she doesn't know that. So if this gem is attached to her head, she just perceives it as something being above her, like a predator, which would stress her out. And if it's causing her to think that she's constantly in the shade, she may stay under her heat lamp, if she has one, without realizing it, causing her to overheat. And according to Kim's post, Speed had the gem for a few months before her post. So that is a long time for Speed's senses to be hindered like this. Kim also later posted some different outfits that Speed was wearing, but after that, Speed was never seen again. And the year that Speed disappeared was the same year that 2 more bearded dragons came into North's life.
This is my lizard cheese. This is my lizard bean. This is her stocking. And my mom hates them because they have worms and they're disgusting, my mom thinks. Because my mom doesn't like lizards.
And according to reptile experts, the way that these 2 bearded dragons were being cared for was much better than Speed's care.
Hold up. Is anyone else shocked and slightly impressed that Kim K's daughter's bearded dragon care doesn't look horrible? Like, I'm not gonna say that I would have expected it to be terrible, but like, it looks like it has proper UVB. It doesn't look like jarringly wrong.
Kim also showed off a painting that North did of one of the bearded dragons, but that was the last time they were ever heard of. Another time animals were given the improper living conditions was when Kim and Chloe bought some fish for their sister Courtney's son.
Kim and Chloe come over with some goldfish for Mason. I am not a pet person, and I really don't want pets until my kids are old enough to ask for them themselves.
In the episode of the show that we see this happen in, they arrive at Courtney's house with a tiny fish bowl, some ornaments, and 2 fish. The fish bowl is totally unsuitable for any amount of fish and any kind of fish. They don't have a filter or anything, but most importantly, they have 2 fish that aren't usually supposed to be living with each other. One is a goldfish, a cold water fish, and the other is a gourami, a tropical fish, which requires a heater. While goldfish can live in heated tanks, the gourami cannot live in cold water, so it's not surprising that the gourami fish almost immediately dies.
Have you been feeding your fishies? Did you feed them today?
One of the fish.
Yeah. Well, there's no mistaking it.
They take a photo of the gourami's dead body so that they can buy a fish that looks exactly the same and replace it with the dead one. And it's at the pet store that the worker there informs them that they will need a heater and a filter.
So any tips on keeping it alive?
He needs a filter and a heater, so they use a small aquarium.
So Courtney does decide to get a bigger tank that can fit everything that the fish needs. It's good Courtney did that, but Kim and Chloe really should have done that the first time before a fish died. Another death of a gifted animal was when Chloe got Kim's daughter a pet. Without Kim knowing, Chloe took North to buy a hamster, one of those small plastic cages for it to live in, and a cruel ball for it to move around in. And Kim was not happy to have this hamster gifted to her.
No, it's just this kind of shit I can't deal with. This is why you don't get someone a pet.
Who said this was okay?
Chloe knows how I feel about pets. I just don't have time for it. So now you know, never, ever, ever get a gift of a pet. Don't ever do this to me again. I literally hate you.
Apparently Chloe didn't think it was a big deal because she figured that the hamster would only live a couple of weeks.
I didn't know blacktail had a long life expectancy, you guys.
How long do hamsters live?
Well, 3 years, but I thought it was about 2 weeks.
But as it turns out, that hamster that North named Blacktail did only live for a couple of weeks. So then they decided to purchase an almost identical hamster, and Chloe is tasked with the job of putting the cage back in North's room, and she mentions how hot it is in there.
Blacktail's up in your room?
It might be 400 degrees up here. That could be why the animals keep dying.
We don't get to find out if that hamster only lived a couple of weeks as well, or if it made it to 3 years, because That was the last episode we saw any hamsters in. Kim later decided to get an animal for North of her own choosing. Kim got her a Pomeranian named Sushi. Sushi was also bought with one other puppy at the same time because Courtney also wanted one for her daughter. And out of the two dogs, Kim got to choose which one she wanted. And she decided on the puppy Sushi because it was the quietest one at the time. The reason why it was so quiet was because it was sick. But once it was back in full health, she regretted her decision and wanted to swap it for the one Courtney got.
Give me my dog. Like, why don't you want me to get the dog back? All your dog does is bark all day. I know, yours is so much more calm. This is not your dog. Do you even like dogs?
Who found them?
You hate dogs.
And it wasn't surprising she wasn't happy with her dog because she's never been an animal person. On her blog, when she was talking about some of the family's pets, she said, "The funniest thing is, I'm not the biggest animal person. Sure, I love cute, fluffy kittens, but I don't die to constantly have a pet." She doesn't really like animals in general, and she definitely does not like dogs. She doesn't like dogs so much that she opted to pet their family dog with a shoe instead of using her hand. In an episode of their show, Courtney says that they don't like dogs because a childhood dog of theirs died.
When I was little, my dog died, and like it was so heartbreaking for me and Kim, and both her and I hate dogs now because we just like could never get over it.
I've never liked dogs since I was a kid.
Kim has also done an interview where she said she received a puppy for Christmas that she named Valentina that ended up eating a snail 2 weeks later and dying from it. I'm not sure if that is the dog that Courtney is referring to or if they had another childhood dog that died, but they obviously don't have a good track record with dogs. Kim did actually pretend to like dogs to get on the front cover of a dog magazine.
I wanted to be on the cover of a magazine so badly. And Canine Dog magazine called, and I remember I begged Chloe and Nicole Richie to borrow their dogs because they didn't have a dog, and I wanted to be on the cover of a magazine. I don't know whose dog that is. It's one of theirs. You were with me through every phase.
When you were on the front of Dog Fancy?
It's called Canine Magazine.
Dog Magazine.
Anything.
They were.
Anything for a cover. If anyone wants to know what my first cover is, Canine Dog.
Dog Fancy. And I was like, but you don't like dogs.
Canine Dog.
But I guess it wasn't enough to convince some people because she got a dog named Rocky with her boyfriend at the time, and that dog vanished. And a rumor started that she killed that dog. I suppose people were believing it because Kim had to take to Twitter to say that she did not kill her dog. Then a couple of years after getting her first Pomeranian, she got two more. Another tan one named Saki, and a black one named Soba. Soba was never seen again after initially being introduced to the world, but Saki would pop up on social media from time to time. The most notable time that Saki and Sushi popped up on social media was when North posted a video to TikTok of their living conditions, not realizing that anything was wrong with it. The video she posted showed them living penned up in their garage. She did delete that video, but there was of course a lot of mixed reactions to it. Some people were okay with it because at least they were safe inside. One of the Kardashians' other childhood dogs, Dolce, was eaten alive by a coyote, so at least Saki and Sushi were inside protected. And it was wintertime at the time, and while it may have been warm enough in her house to potentially kill a hamster, it was probably just warm enough in the garage for the dogs to be cozy. But on the other side of things, people questioned why she got the dogs to begin with if she wasn't even going to let them into the house to be a part of the family. And how can someone with hundreds of millions of dollars not have a better setup for her dogs? But anyways, what do you think about it? That is pretty much it for this video. I just want to say another big thank you to Delete Me for sponsoring this video. It really helps when sponsors support this kind of content that I am really passionate about. To get your data removed from the internet, check out Delete Me via the link in the description box and get 20% off. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and let's take a moment of silence for all of the animals that have suffered in Kim's care. And I will see you in my next video.